I'm going to transition into talking about how you share the message of salvation with kids in a way that they can understand. And again, just to repeat, like, we share all these things: salvation, baptism of the Holy Spirit, forgiveness, generosity with our kids, right? Because we want to instill seeds of things that, we've come to know and believe. And then our hope is that when they get older, that they'll become what they believe too. So when I share with kids, what does it mean? What does salvation mean? I try to make it as simple as possible in terms that they can understand. Because just remember, we've got to be always aware of using too big of words that they don't understand, because they might not even tell you that they don't understand the words that you mean. Like even the big word salvation, for a 5-year-old is just like, what? I've never heard that word before, possibly. And so you might want to break it down as easy as you can into words that they understand. Like, God has a plan for us to be with him forever. He never even wanted to be apart from us. And so, in this life, God has all kinds of ways for us to live our best life. And that's what his idea is. He wants us to live our best life. And that's why he had the Bible written. The Bible is just really a guidebook. It's a plan for us to know, an instruction book, how to live our best life. So it has all these words of how to live your best life. So that's why we should be reading it, right? And so what we read in the Bible is that there came into the world through a man named Adam sin. And sin is just this big word that means we did things in a way that God never wanted us to do them. It's like breaking the rules is an easy way to say that. And so when we sinned or broke the rules, God has a consequence for that. Just like maybe at your home, like if you do something you're not supposed to do, maybe mom has you sit in a chair for a while or doesn't let you go and play outside with your friends. Well, when we didn't follow the way that God wanted us to live, that big word called sin, we were then separated from him, and God never wanted that to happen. He wants to be with us every moment. And so God knew this was going to happen because God knows everything. So he already made a plan for us to be with him forever. And this is what he did. He knew that we weren't going to be able to live a perfect life. And so he sent Jesus to do it for us. He lived the perfect life that we couldn't live. And so Jesus could have died and gone right to heaven because he lived the perfect life. But that wasn't enough for God. And it wasn't enough for Jesus either. So what Jesus did is he paid our punishment for us. Can you imagine, and I'm talking to kids. If you feel like I'm talking to you like a little kid, I'm just telling you how you could tell this to your kids. You can share with your kids. Think about if you did something wrong and your brother said, you know what, I know she did something wrong. I'm going to go in the timeout chair for her instead, and she can go out and play. I'll pay that punishment for her. That would be really amazing. And that's really, in a bigger sense, what Jesus did for us. He paid our punishment for us. He actually paid a criminal's death. What they used to do to terrible criminals way back when was crucify them on a cross, nails, hands, and feet. And that was what the criminal would have to do to pay the penalty for their whatever they had done. And Jesus did that for us. And so we don't have to have the penalty of not being with God forever. So what we have to do in faith, right? This is all in faith, is we say, Jesus, thank you for what you did for me and that you paid the penalty for me so I don't have to. I receive what you did for me in faith, and I give my life to you to live for you forever because I know that's the best way, and you thank God for it. And that's what we call salvation, that your punishment has been paid for you, and now you are free to live for God. And you can ask your kids, you say, does that make sense to you? And if it does, you can pray the sinner's prayer with them.